Namaste, angels. Thank you for joining, liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, purchasing your readings, your energy healing from me, all the many things that you do to support me, the channel, the videos, to help the channel to continue to grow. I do appreciate it. I posted this week about all of the males, not just masculine, but males and heterosexual males who have been coming to me lately for readings. I'm really excited about it, and for what it means for the male and the divine masculine populations at large, and it really aligns well with what I've been seeing for a few months now. And I keep telling you guys in tidbits, and also going further and saying that I need to talk to you at a deeper level. If I don't do it this week, I don't know when I'm going to do it. I really, really have to show you the things that I have seen, share those things with you. I was also thinking about having a sale specifically for males, for all my services, really. But again, it's been the readings that they've been buying for themselves. A lot of times when a masculine or a male gets energy healing, it's because his feminine bought it for him, honestly. But as far as the readings themselves, and that used to be the case too. Like some would come to me, but on my channel, in general, my viewership is mostly female, and of that I believe also of the feminine archetype. But I do have some males. I've always had some males. And then of the clients that I would have, I have some males and they would come to me directly, but I would get a lot that were parts of couples. And then of those males that I got, some identified as feminine, whether they were, heterosexual or LGBTQ IA, I could keep on going. However they identified, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And then, in addition to that, many were also, homosexual. So it was like, this is different. This heterosexual male that identifies as masculine, that is able to get enough in touch and in balance with his spiritual and perhaps even feminine nature, to the extent that he's able to contact me on his own behalf for a reading, for guidance. And, that's just free of ego, and all of that is so very inspiring to me and exciting to me, for them, for the collective. So we're going to get into that also. And this is a really good week. And looking at the cards that were here, first of all, before I even laid any of these cards, I already had this feeling, and I could even hear it in my head, like, take my hand, let me lead you, let me lead you. And then after I shuffled these cards, I ended up with this Sibylla deck, this card up top, the Queen of Diamonds. By memory, I remember it says something in the book for this card about this woman, she leads you with something. So I want to read that because I don't remember it exactly. But I was like, oh, that's what I was seeing. Let me lead you. Let me take you by the hand or something. That's joining Major Arcana card 0, the Dreamer or the Fool, which in this deck, this card has always felt like Mercury to me. I can't explain what the hell it means for something to feel like Mercury, but this feels like Mercury. And therefore, this card also connects to me, for me, to the signs of Gemini and Virgo, which are both ruled by Mercury. A leap of faith, follow your dreams, at least unexpected opportunities. This is about a brand new path that one is walking again. And then this card is called something like the married woman with children. And, she's just the kind of woman that you want to be with. But at the same time, they say, like, don't get too attached to her because you might become codependent, because she's just so wonderful and so nurturing that I guess you'll forget how to take care of yourself, potentially. And then in this deck, we got the 8 of Spring, or the 8 of Wands. You've been presented with many wonderful opportunities all at once. While this may feel very stressful, remember to be grateful for the blessings that heaven sends you. 8 of Wands, about the universe doing things behind the scenes for you, and you possibly not thinking anything is happening or wanting to go ahead and push things along and rush it, but the universe has got it behind you, So you'll find out soon enough. You got to be a little bit more patient when the Eight of Wands shows up. We got two Eight of Wands here. Both of them are upright. I mean, well, in the Animal Tarot, there are no reversals. So, of course, it's going to be upright. But this is the Rider-Waite Tarot. And in the placement of energy surrounding us, we also have the Eight of Wands upright. So that was pretty cool. It's sitting here next to the Ace of Wands, also upright, in our position that is most directly representing us and our, focus. Work and finance. The Six of Cups, also upright. So some things coming back. When I felt the take my hand, in terms of relationships, I felt people coming back from the past in a new way. So I think that's what the Dreamer's about. It's in a new way. Now, you're going to have to decide if you're interested in that or not, particularly with the Nine of Swords showing up in the position of love and relationship. It's like you might not trust the person, and this person could be one of those types of, let me tell you what you want to hear type of people. So, maybe you can't trust it. Maybe it's not on the up and up. You're going to have to discern that. And the Hangman in reverse, as opposed to the Hangman upright, tends to mean that you may be ready to decide that, to discern that. So that can be, but also meeting new people. Not just people coming back from the past, but meeting new people, and maybe like having the relationships that you dreamed of even as a child. Like, I'm going to meet, this guy, and he's going to be tall, and he's going to be, he's going to be like charming, and he's going to, sweep me off my feet. Or I'm going to meet this girl, and she's going to know how to cook, and, whatever. The vision that you had from your past that you've always wanted, always look forward to. And also in terms of work, maybe something you've always wanted to do, career, or something that had bypassed you in the past. The raise you didn't get, the promotion that you didn't get, like a new opportunity coming around for those things. Maybe not the same exact one, but the equivalent. So it's finding like, it's that thing from your past, that dream being fulfilled, being revived. And if it's not fulfilled, it's because you don't want it to be, right? You decided no. Also, these Eights of Spring or Wands are about communication. So again, receiving communications from people that you haven't even spoken to in forever. And you probably don't even have their number anymore because, again, like for some of those people, you didn't have a good separation. When you did separate, there was distrust, there was maybe even hurt, betrayal or stuff, so it's like, new phone, who this, you have no idea. But, in some cases, you're going to be happy that it's this person, and there's a new opportunity, a chance to start all over again, brand new path you never walked. And in other cases, you might decide you're not interested, but that's going to come up. We'll see how some of the many things that are going on in the celestial system this week may affect that. We also have a couple of things on the Christian calendar, one of which is on the same day. As I always tell you guys, these things always fall on the same day, and there's meaning behind what feast days fall on a given day, and you'll see what I mean again in a few moments. So let's start with the Christian calendar. This weekly reading is for tomorrow, Sunday, December 8th, through Saturday to come, December 14th. On December 8th, we're going to start right away with the Feast of the Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And then there are several saints' days in between that we're not going to spend any time on. And then Thursday the 12th, the same day as the Gemini full moon, at 12:12 a.m. Also, when Chiron goes direct after having been retrograde for like 10 months, like close to an entire year in the sign of Aries, all of this is happening the same day. Also, the feast day of Our Lady of Guadalupe, which is another celebration of Mary. So she has two feast days this week. So let's start with her first one. I've just gone to www.franciscanmedia.org to tell you a little bit about the Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Virgin Mary. A feast called the Conception of Mary arose in the Eastern Church in the 7th century. It came to the West in the 8th century. In the 11th century, it received its present name, the Immaculate Conception. In the 18th century, it became a feast of the Universal Church. It is now recognized as a solemnity. In 1854, 99, Pope Pius IX solemnly proclaimed the Blessed Virgin Mary in the first instant of her conception by a singular grace and privilege granted by Almighty God in view of the merits of Jesus Christ, the Savior of the human race, was preserved free from all stain of original sin. That was a quote. It took a long time for this doctrine to develop. While many fathers and doctors of the church considered Mary the greatest and holiest of the saints, they often had difficulty in seeing Mary as sinless, either at her conception or throughout her life. This is one of the church teachings that arose more from the piety of the faithful than from the insights of the brilliant theologians. Even such champions of Mary as Bernard and Clairvaux and Thomas Aquinas — Thomas means twin, by the way, like a Gemini twin — they could not see the theological justification for this teaching. Two Franciscans, William of Ware and Blessed John Duns Scotus, helped develop the theology. They pointed out that Mary's Immaculate Conception enhances Jesus' redemptive work. Other members of the human race are cleansed from their original sin after birth. In Mary, Jesus' work was so powerful as to prevent original sin at the outset. In Luke 1:28, which equals 11, the angel Gabriel, speaking on God's behalf, addresses Mary as, quote, full of grace, end quote, or, quote, highly favored, end quote. In that context, this phrase means Mary is receiving all the special divine help necessary for the task ahead. However, the church grows in understanding with the help of the Holy Spirit. The Spirit led the church, especially non-theologians, to the insight that Mary had to be the most perfect work of God next to the Incarnation. Or rather, Mary's intimate association with the Incarnation called for the special involvement of God in Mary's whole life. The logic of piety helped God's people to believe that Mary was full of grace and free of sin from the moment of her existence. Moreover, this great privilege of Mary is the highlight of all that God has done in Jesus. Rightly understood, the incomparable holiness of Mary shows forth the incomparable goodness of God. Mary, as the Immaculate Conception, is the patron saint of Brazil and the United States of America. And we'll just go straight into Thursday the 12th, her other feast day, Our Lady of Guadalupe, also from franciscanmedia.org. The feast in honor of Our Lady of Guadalupe goes back to the 16th century. Chronicles of that period tell us the story. A poor Indian named Qualadahuc was baptized and given the name Juan Diego. He was a 57-year-old widower and lived in a small village near Mexico City. On the morning, Saturday, December 9th, in the year 1531, he was on his way to a nearby barrio to attend Mass in honor of Our Lady. Juan was walking by a hill called Tepeyac when he heard beautiful music like the warbling of birds. A radiant cloud appeared, and within it stood an Indian maiden dressed like an Aztec princess. The lady spoke to him in his own language and sent him to the Bishop of Mexico, a Franciscan named Juan de Zumarraga. The bishop was to build a chapel in the place where the lady appeared. Eventually, the bishop told Juan to have the lady give him a sign. About the same time, Juan's uncle became seriously ill. This led poor Juan to try to avoid the lady. Nevertheless, the lady found Juan, assured him that his uncle would recover, and provided roses for Juan to carry to the bishop in his cape or tilma. On December 12th, when Juan Diego opened his tilma in the bishop's presence, the roses fell to the ground, and the bishop sank to his knees. On the tilma where the roses had been appeared an image of Mary, exactly as she had appeared at the hill of Tepeyac. Mary's appearance to Juan Diego as one of his own people is a powerful reminder that Mary and the God who sent her accept all peoples. In the context of the sometimes rude and cruel treatment of the Indians by the Spaniards, the apparition was a rebuke to the Spaniards and an event of vast significance for the indigenous population. While a number of them had converted before this incident, they now came in droves. According to a contemporary chronicler, 9 million Indians became Catholic in a very short time. In these days, when we hear so much about God's preferential option for the poor, Our Lady of Guadalupe cries out to us that God's love for and identification with the poor is an age-old truth that stems from the gospel itself. Our Lady of Guadalupe is the patron saint of the Americas, so that means North and South America, and Mexico. So that brings us to the planetary calendar, because there is nothing until Hanukkah on the Hebrew calendar or Jewish calendar, and nothing for the rest of the year on the Islamic calendar that we're going to talk about. So that brings us to December 8th at 11:27 p.m. Again, the first day for which this reading is the same day as Mary's feast day of the Immaculate Conception. We have this other event at 11:27 or 9/11 or 11 occurring. Jupiter square Chiron. The following day, December 9th at 4:41 a.m., Mercury, the ruler of Gemini and Virgo, enters Sagittarius. Maybe that's why all these wands are showing up. The Ace of Wands, the Eight of Wands twice over, this 10 of fire or wands behind the Fool or Dreamer, this Queen of fire or wands, also behind the 10 of fire, and the Dreamer or Fool upright. So maybe that's what that's about. Then on December 12th, again at 12:12 a.m., the full moon in Gemini occurs at 19 degrees. And then also on December 12th at 10:47 a.m., so later on that night, Chiron goes direct in Aries. That could be another reason for all of this fire or wands. And then lastly, the last day for which this reading is December 14th at 2:01 p.m., Saturn will be quintile Chiron, also at 19 degrees. So I just want to talk about, I'm going to have a full moon video like I always do. I am going to talk about Chiron going direct. I'm going to, maybe in that same video, talk about all of these other things that I've been meaning to talk to you guys about for months. I'll start from at least October to give you an idea and a lead up as to what's been happening and why, and take us into January perhaps. And yeah, that covers all the special events. I think I'll do them together like that. So for this one, I'm not going to go into any detail, but I will talk first before moving on to the reading about Mercury in Sagittarius. And for this, I'm just going to www.tarot.com. Mercury in Sagittarius, honest, idealistic, and forward thinking. This is by the tarot.com staff. The transit is from December 9th through December 28th. And the staff wrote this article and posted it on November 25th of this year. Mercury, the info guy, has very mixed feelings about being in Sagittarius. Expansive Sagittarius can be overwhelming to the detail-oriented Mercury because small things can get blown out of proportion here and tales become taller than usual. Yet Mercury's time in this sign can end up being a blessing too, as open-minded and adventurous Sagittarius helps us to broaden our thoughts. Because Sagittarius is such a visionary, our minds end up wandering far and wide during this transit. Mercury has a reputation for being a bit of a wild card when it comes to this sort of thing and moves into this bold and sometimes reckless sign. That's because Mercury is all about ideas and words, and Sagittarius is all about action. This combination could lead to speaking without thinking, accidentally saying something rude, or sprouting off things that simply aren't true. Mercury is concerned with getting down to the nitty-gritty, and Sagittarius likes looking at life through a broader lens. Because Sagittarius always has its sights on the future, Mercury's presence in this sign supports visions of tomorrow. The trick is to use meticulous Mercury's knack for filling in all the details so that the picture you're selling is the one that actually develops. Exuberant Sagittarius adds a touch of excitement wherever he goes, which means that Mercury in Sagittarius can be a time of enthusiastic words, confident messages, and passionate debates. You see all these messages, these 2 8s of wands? The key to this transit is to drop your prejudices, but not your reason. In the desire to find the answers to life's biggest questions, it's imperative that we appreciate different points of view. We must all remember to think before we speak while Mercury is in Sagittarius. That's because things could come flying out of our mouths without checking to see if they're true or before considering others' feelings. We need to triple check our words during this transit so that we don't end up coming across as fools or saying things that we don't really mean. Maybe that's why the Fool is the overall energy here. Sagittarius is represented by the Archer, the Explorer, which means our possibilities are endless while Mercury is traveling here. We're encouraged to broaden our minds and horizons now, making this a great time to start thinking about taking a trip somewhere, going back to school, or starting a new job. And like I said, we could definitely be starting a new job, and maybe the one that we've always wanted and or one that we were passed up for in the past. And it goes on to talk about what it means when Mercury's retrograde in Sagittarius, or if one was born with Mercury in Sagittarius in their own natal chart. So anybody interested in reading from where I was reading, again, I was just on www.tarot.com, Mercury in Sagittarius, honest, idealistic, and forward thinking. Going now to the dice, we're beginning with romantic dinner. It's 50-50, which could be tied to this 10 of fire, right? 10 of fire is about like one person carrying the full burden or having a full plate, having so much to do, perhaps while others have nothing. These, again, 8s of spring or wands can also be about having a lot to do, having all kinds of different things happening. This card even said it when I read it, right? It says, you've been presented with many wonderful opportunities all at once. So you have a lot going on, very, very busy plate, full plate. The last one is cocktail. That could, of course, go with the romantic dinner and cocktails. Maybe for 2, 50-50, maybe a date for some people, brand new meeting, and we're going to go Dutch, right? You pay for yours, I pay for mine because we don't know each other yet. Something like that could be happening. Or in the instance of, again, trying to come back together, a couple that existed in the past that's trying again in a new way. You know, maybe they're going to, we got to put this in 50-50. We got to both do the work, you know, if we want the partnership to work. And on that note, 29, romantic partnership, spiritual partnership, rather, 29. Also, yes. Can we see that? Yes. And stay in bed. All right, going to the cards. I just looked up at the clock and it's exactly 12:12 a.m. now on Sunday morning. And I'm about to talk to you about Major Arcana card 12, the Hangman, although in reverse. So when the Hangman shows up, it can mean that, you know, we're deciding that the time has come for us to let go of something that doesn't work anymore, something that's outdated. It could be a situation, a relationship, a friendship, an idea, like the way we had envisioned something in our mind. It's not working. And, you know, it's like it's run its course. And then maybe we're just deciding honestly that it's not something that works for us anymore. And if we let go of it, it's going to open up our life to something that's more positive, right? It's about not trying to force anything, right? Like, we're not going to try to fit a square peg into a round hole. We may have been trying that in some cases for years. And that could be, again, why the 6 of Cups is showing up. Like, this is something that's been around us for a long time. It's been a long time coming, but we're just not anymore. And that's why I said somebody may be coming back or trying again. They might be finally ready. And you might be saying, you know what, never mind. It's not going to work. I'm distrustful of the situation. I'm distrustful of you, blah, blah, blah. Or we could be letting go of that, those feelings that we've been holding on to maybe for a long time from the past, of distrust, of hurt, of betrayal, of, lies and anxiety and sleepless nights or whatever. That may be of what we want to let go. When this card shows up as it relates to love, yeah, it can be we want to let go of a particular vision we had. Like, maybe I saw us getting married and it's probably not going to go that way, or at least not now, but maybe we'll, live together. Maybe we'll date, or maybe we'll become BFFs or something like that. It's about, letting go of like your fantasy as the only way that you're going to be able to be happy, and learning how to be happy with reality, and or how to like create reality for yourself. For those that are in a long-term relationship, you've been committed for a while, it can mean some sort of crossroad and needing to decide again, like, where do we go from here? Similar to how I feel about Major Arcana card Judgment. And, it can go either way. And I think for some people will decide that it's, no more, and to start something new, a brand new path. The brand new path is going to be each of them, starting something alone and separate. When this card shows up, it means to like stop avoiding the hints and messages, the signs, the synchronicities, and things that are showing up, your intuition, stuff that's happening to show you what it is, what direction in which you should be going. It tells us to stop like resisting those things. I think that's all I want to say about that, at least for now. Similarly, and for the positive, again, the Ace of Wands can mean in a relationship that's already committed that there's going to be some sort of new beginning, and that the new beginning is a positive one. So I'm saying even in the case where people decide to separate, sometimes that's amicable. Not everybody that breaks up or separates, hates each other. Sometimes we realize, we're better as friends, or, we're better as business partners or whatever. This dating thing isn't working. Some people may decide that, and that's your new beginning. Other people may decide that, it's time for a new beginning for them. And this Ace of Wands means a big deepening of the commitment that they have, It's just a relationship going and a fresh start in some sort of area, like rising to new heights of expression, passion, understanding of each other and from where you're coming and all that. For new relationships, or for people who are single, it can definitely be meeting somebody or the start of a new relationship, a new commitment that you're entering. If you haven't met anybody yet, make sure that you're available, and that you're available for a relationship or for love in a way, like whatever way feels right for you or makes sense to you. So again, getting back to the Hangman, and maybe not like some sort of picture or fantasy or whatever that, this can be alternate ways. This can be, unique dynamics that fit us and our lives, and not necessarily a storybook or what society would have us do. Again, the Eight of Wands is a card of communication. So you could be reaching out to somebody, or you could be hearing from somebody, maybe again from your past. We have it crossing the Six of Cups, also upright. The Eight of Wands is a card that means don't push. Again, even if it doesn't look like things are happening, doesn't look like things are moving, they are going on behind the scenes. Like Jupiter's got your back. Jupiter's working on it. Mars is working on it. The planet of action, planet of aggression. Because this is fire energy. This is Wands. So that means Jupiter, right? These are fire planets. They're working on it. This is karmic energy behind the scenes. Also, again, it can mean you have a bunch of things going on, several opportunities popping up at once. Do I pay attention to my love life or my work life or whatever? Can I manage it all at one time? The Eight of Wands says you can manage it all. Like there's no need for any anxiety. And maybe that's why this Nine of Swords in relation to the Eight of Wands has flipped upside down. It's in reverse, because you're not anxious anymore. Like you're releasing that because you know that you got this. So you're going to be able to handle all these things that are coming to you. And you're just thankful, right, for all the many, many blessings. Also, the Eight of Wands, as it relates to love, it can mean the same thing, that you're looking for a deeper commitment, and let it come, right? Let it come organically. If you try to force it, I think you're going to be sorry. It's not a good time anytime the Eight of Wands shows up to like try to push anything. But I never believe in pushing as it relates to relationships, particularly romantic ones, because that's, chasing energy does exactly what it sounds like. It chases the other person away. So if we can at all avoid that, some of us have already made that mistake for you. Maybe you've never done it. I've done it. So, I can tell you from past experience, it's not a good idea, when you chase people like that. And you're just not going to get your needs met by force, but through organic, connection, it's going to work. So if you need to like focus on something else, put your thoughts into your work, right? Put your thoughts into the opportunities that are around you. Put your thoughts into your spiritual life instead of focusing on, what's going on here or what you feel is not going on here in terms of love and romance. When they say, well, I'm going to work on me in the meantime. Yeah, do that. It's a good time to do that. In work, again, something could be coming up from your past, something that you've always wanted to do, an opportunity in an area, a field in which you've always wanted to work could be coming up. It's a good time to, if you can incorporate some sort of creative outlet or, do a job, work on something that involves creativity, drawing, painting. I don't know. I'm not good at any of either of those, so I'd have to do something else. I used to crochet. I had at one point stopped driving to work and started taking the train instead so that I could carry my yarn and needles with me and crochet on the train and get my creative juices going too and flowing too and make myself busy and focus on something else. As like a meditative outlet. And that's what the Six of Cups can be about and mean for you to do. As it relates specifically to finances as opposed to work, you're looking to make like side money. Again, think of things that maybe from your past or that appeal to you in a nostalgic kind of way or appeal to children that, of which you're capable, something that you can provide to parents and their children, something, again, that maybe involves your creativity, could be good for you. Also, there could be something happening with inheritance, maybe something from the past coming up like, oh, this money that was put aside for you, you didn't know about it, but it's matured now and you get to have it or something like that. Or somebody's leaving you something or you, because you're grown up now, they've decided to give it to you. Somebody may even be, like approaching a really deepening of commitment, like even engagement or marriage. And it could be like, well, here's mommy's ring. You can give this to your girlfriend or that sort of thing. Coming up with these also. I'm just feeling something very, remember Take My Hand? That might be involved with engagement or marriage or something. Possibly. Let's see what comes up with another spread. I said I wanted to read that card for you. I'll try not to forget to do it. So let's get a spread down here. Again, the overall reading is, overall energy is the Eight of Spring or Wands. Crowning the masculine this week. Major Arcana card 10, the wheel. Speaking of Jupiter, the wheel represents the planet Jupiter. And all of a sudden, like very quickly with this fire energy, something coming in to change everything. Where it may not have been going so well, all of a sudden everything's going fabulously. Expect a sudden positive change in your life, masculine. You can now move forward and make great progress. This card, the wheel, as well as the planet Jupiter, connected to the fixed signs also, not just Sagittarius. The fixed signs, well, Sagittarius is a mutable sign. It's not a fixed sign at all, but it is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter also connected to the fixed signs. So there's 4, right? Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio. So any of those possibly particularly significant this week. Speaking of Mars, I just talked about Jupiter and Mars. That may be why the 5 of Spring is showing up, right? The planet of action, the planet of aggression. Sometimes this card, the 5 of Spring, which, you know, for most people is only ever about conflict. Sometimes for me, it's positive, you know, believe it or not. And it is representative of sort of like a by any means necessary, you know, sort of Malcolm X kind of energy, you know, big, strong man energy is what comes through for me. Like I mean what I say what, you know, I say what I mean. And if I said I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. That's what I get from this. But yes, it can be about conflict, and where it is about conflict, for me, it tends to be, if it's not something like about inner conflict, like where one is conflicted, then the conflict tends to be either at work, in which case that could be another reason why the wheel is here, right? There's some sort of competition, again, for a bonus or a raise or something. And this time it's coming to you. And, you know, so that's why you have both of these. Or there's conflict with close friends and or family. And again, that may be, you know, and speaking of, I was just talking about inheritance, perhaps. Maybe you get left something whereas somebody else doesn't, or they wanted the item that you got or something like that. And so there could be some sort of conflict as it relates to abundance or something that's coming into you. Masculine subconscious, the 10 of Spring. So it's another 10 of Wands. We just saw one here right underneath the Fool. You're working far too hard and the stress will soon become too much. Reach out for help from others and take some time to play and to enjoy life. This can also be connected to, again, the die. It's 50-50. Like, why is one person carrying the full burden of everything? And maybe that's why that there's been some upset, right? I'm doing everything, you're doing nothing, and you're just trying to, you know, be included in like the benefits, the outcome, without putting in the work. Crowning the feminine. The 7 of Autumn. The planning, resources, and efforts that you invest in your dream will reap great rewards. In the meantime, have patience and meditate on your next step. So this is the same thing I said about the 2 8s of Wands that showed up, that they could be about patience. We've already done everything we need to do, everything we can do, and the rest is karmic energy, or the rest is up to somebody else. As it relates to specifically to work, maybe in consideration of this, as well as the first spread that we had here, somebody may be waiting for an answer from someone else, right, as it relates to your work or finance. Like, there's nothing else you can do about it. Now you have to wait for, you know, whomever is responsible for the decision in whatever's going on with you to answer. With the 8 of Wands crossing the 6 of Cups, and with the 7 of Autumn showing up to say, you know, you're going to reap what you've sown. And if you put effort in, you're going to get the benefit of it. Then there's reason to expect it to be a good outcome for you, and for you to be blessed by whatever it is you're awaiting. But patience is required. All right. Surrounding the feminine this week. Major Arcana card 2, the High Priestess, which is an energy of inaction. It's like, you know everything's going to be fine. Like, just chill, be patient, wait, let things play out. That's what the High Priestess is all about. She is a Gemini. So maybe she's showing up here because of the Gemini full moon, or because Mercury's entering Sag, right? Mercury's Gemini's ruler, or something like that. In the tarot, she can also be representative of water signs. This is the time to pause and to reflect, not to take action. Trust in your spiritual gifts, as nothing is hidden from your divine intuition. So it's like you know what's really going on. You don't have to always be shown something. Like, it's okay to let things play out behind the scenes sometimes. The High Priestess, you know, she's got street smarts. She's intelligent. She's wise. She's learned things from experience. She's intuitive, right? She's psychic. So she knows what's going on. And sometimes she is one that's having to make a decision too about what her next move is. So that's why it says it's time to pause. It's a card of inaction to an extent. Like, I'm inactive until I decide what my next move is. You know, that's the purpose of being indecisive, because I'm thinking about, I'm weighing all the variables. And then once I've considered everything, then I'm going to decide what my next move is, and I'll no longer be indecisive. Feminine subconscious, the 3 of Autumn, your most satisfying and profitable career, relationship too, like really anything in your life, comes, right? Because we're talking about your most satisfying situation, let's just put it that way, comes from following your passions, listening to your heart, and doing what brings you joy. Your life purpose is best fulfilled by allowing your talents and true self to shine forth out into the world. The 3 of Autumn may have something to do with some sort of party of 3, not necessarily a love triangle, but that's possible. It could also have something to do with work, a group project. It's about abundance that's earned, more importantly to me. That's what the 3 of Autumn represents for me. Like you're being blessed because you should be. You deserve it. You've done some sort of actual work. It's not just like a benefit falling out of the sky, like you got lucky. You put out either the positive energy, and this is like your karmic energy paying you back, God paying you back, the universe paying you back, or through your labors on this plane, you've done something that warrants you to be recognized in some way in terms of abundance. Crowning, the 9 of Summer, 9 of Cups. Now's the time of your dreams come true, right? This is what I was saying about the 6 of Cups and stuff, like something that you always dreamed of happening now, particularly in the area of work and finance. Don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that's still to come. The root, the foundation, it's another 6 of Cups. Told ya, the love and care of children could become an important part of your life, or people from your childhood may return to it. They don't have to be from your childhood. They can just be from your past. Old memories can be healed. Yep. And possibly old childhood dreams are ready to be revived. And that's exactly what I was seeing and feeling, just even preparing to do the reading for you guys. At the heart of the matter, boom, and more decisions. The 7 of Summer. It's time to stop procrastinating and to make a decision so that you can move forward with a priority. If you need to do more research, then do so, but don't overthink the situation. Listen to your heart. 7 of Summer of Cups is also indicative of having like multiple options, a lot of choices. Remember, being presented with many opportunities at once. So in some cases, we may need to decide what opportunities we're taking, what we're going to leave alone right now, or how we're going to prioritize the opportunities. I'm going to start with this, and then I'm going to move to that, whatever the case is. But let's further clarify these here with the Angel Tarot quickly. I'm just going to go in like this. Crowning the masculine, a top major arcana card, the Wheel. It's the 8 of Earth. Skilled work is rewarded. So even what he's getting, this sort of positive change all of a sudden, it's an area, he's deserving of it too, right? He's put some sort of positive energy out there, or again, done an actual labor on this plane that is paying off now. Skilled work is rewarded. Also learning all there is to know about a topic, and maybe even going back to school. So this is about reaping what you've sown, the 8 of Earth. And this is what he's reaping. This is what he's sown. Atop the 5 of Fire or Wands is the Ace of Air. Brilliant new ideas and inspirations. Seeing the truth of a situation and a challenging beginning. So again, the truth could be coming out in some sort of conflict or competition. A victor, right, could be resulting. And I'm going to say that that's the masculine. He will be the one who is victorious. Ace of Air is a card of victory. It's also like after there's been challenges or difficulties, the Ace of Air shows up to say, yes, new beginning, but it's not a new beginning that came easy, right? It's a new beginning on the heels of these challenges. Some truth may come out about something as well. Maybe somebody that was, again, trying to set you up, trying to cause problems for you at the job, cause you to be overlooked, steal your work, take credit for something that you've done. It'll come out who's really responsible for this project, who's really supposed to get the credit. this guy. Atop the 10 of spring, Major Arcana card 1, the Magician, which also represents the planet Mercury in the sign of Gemini. You are ready. You have the resources or the ability to manifest them, and life is magical. The Magician can also be representative, having nothing to do with the sign of, again, so like a trickster that was, again, in your midst or something. Somebody, a narcissist, a liar, or somebody that was trying to, again, take what was yours, perhaps. But more importantly, it shows up to remind you that you have the ability to manifest whatever you need, your own destiny, right? To be the designer and the manifestor to like, make it happen. You envision it, and then you can make those things actually become a reality for yourself. Crowning the feminine, atop the 7 of autumn, 7 of pentacles, is the 3 of pentacles, 3 of her. So we got one down here, the 3 of pentacles, and now she's crowned by 1, 2. So the feminine really getting something this week that she deserves, that she has earned. And or some of us dealing with some parties of 3 again. The 12s equal the 3s too. So that could be another reason why all these 3s are showing up, right? All the 12, 12, 12, 12, those are 3s. The power of creativity. Recognition for very high quality work. Be a team player. So here, talking about reaping what you've sown, right? It's saying it's going to pay off, and then there's the payoff, right? This shows up to say, yeah, how's it going to pay off? With abundance that's earned. That's what she's going to be getting. Surrounding the feminine, atop the high priestess, is the 6 of fire. So it's a card of victory, mirroring the masculine's card of victory. Isn't that interesting? We both have this victory card here, right here in the middle, in the surrounding energy, the energy surrounding us. Victory. Good news. It's on its way. Public recognition or awards. So isn't that exactly what I said about the high priestess? I said the high priestess knows already that everything's going to work out. She knows it's going to be fine. And now here is, you know, the confirmation. So that's why you can have inaction. You don't have to do anything. You can just chill and let everything play out organically. Atop the other 3 of autumn or pentacles that the feminine has, the Queen of Water. Tenderhearted, empathetic, patient, and loving. Relationships develop to a new level. In some cases, that's what she's earned. Trust your intuition, like the high priestess. Care for yourself and others. The Queen of Water may be an actual person as a court card. You know, these court cards show up in the readings, and they very often represent actual people in our lives. Maybe a direct water sign, a Pisces, because the hangman is representative of the Pisces. We had the hangman a moment ago. Also the high priestess that's here. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. This could be connected to one's mother or a mother figure, an energy of somebody who is nurturing, like that Queen of Diamonds that shows up on the Egyptian Sibylla card with which we're starting. Although the Queen of Diamonds, as it relates to tarot, would be representative of pentacles, not water, but it's this sort of mothering, nurturing energy. Atop the 9 of Cups, which is like a yes card. The 5 of Earth, fears surrounding money, the wisdom to accept help from others, and uncertain self-employment. So those of us who've been praying for a turnaround in this area with the 9 of Cups, that's what it's saying, yes. But the 5 of Earth can show up for me as it relates to relationships too. It represents like fear of abandonment, fear of commitment, fear of repeating the same mistakes, you know, in this relationship that I did in my other one. But what are those other cards that we saw in the first spread me? That meant, no, fresh starts. We're not repeating any of this kind of stuff. This is, in some cases, again, what we're letting go of. And we're looking forward instead to good things and what we've prayed for. Well, we've successfully manifested, which is the positive things, our dreams coming true, rather than repeating, you know, old mistakes that kept us limited. Atop the 6 of Cups is the King of Cups. So for some, not only is somebody coming back, he's very, very possibly a direct water sign, he or she. Now we have the King and Queen of Water sitting here next to each other. For some of you watching, this is absolutely about relationships and not about work at all. I've been bumping my gums about work. It's not about work for some of y'all. Definitely about relationship. And yes, this person that's returning to your life that you may not have spoken to in some time. Remember, new number, new phone, who this, is a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, where he's not a water sign. He's still this person who, regardless of how he was before, right? Maybe there was lack before. Maybe the relationship was shitty before. Maybe it was fear of commitment before. He wouldn't, you know, she wouldn't be honest with you. They wouldn't give you the real deal. Maybe they even ghosted, as they say. And that could be why the 9 of Swords had shown up. The anxiety, the worry, the sleepless nights. I'm sitting up. I don't know where you are. I don't know what's happening with the relationship. So that's what this lack is representing. But the King of Water is extremely romantic, generous, nurturing. Again, as is the Queen. So if that's what you're getting now, this is what we're letting go. This is of what we're letting go. Because that doesn't serve us, right? That kind of negative energy, negative thoughts, that does not serve us. Love serves us, though. At the heart of the matter, atop the 7 of Cups and the possible many choices between different people in the relationships. That could be another reason why there's 3. Right? Maybe we have more than one choice in suitor. Ha! Speaking of 3, the 3 of fire. Abundance. Things look very good. Have patience at this time and make long-term plans. So again, this is saying that this is an energy, a situation that we should feel like we could trust. We don't have to feel like this anymore. For some, it is something having to do with a party of 3, possibly even a love triangle. And maybe that's why you got to do some discerning, or you feel like you can't trust the person and you're going to have to decide whether or not you feel like you can now or not. But yeah, energy otherwise looks good. Further to what we've seen here in the spread, let's pull some advice cards. For the masculine, Major Arcana card 4, which is the Emperor. Represents the planet Mars. Like I went on that whole thing about Mars and how the 5 of Wands makes me feel. And here's like a 4 of Wands kind of. Major Arcana card 4. Represented the planet Mars, ruler of the signs of Aries. Again, where Chiron is going direct. And the sign of Scorpio. Maybe representative what this King and Queen of Water are all about. Structure and organization are important right now. Don't be afraid to take on a leadership role, as you have much wisdom to offer. The Emperor, often representative for me of like a married man or marriage material. This could be a man with children that we're involved in, and maybe that was the problem before. He was married, or he got married or something. Again, this is an opportunity for something to come back now. So marriage could be over. This card can also be representative of divorcees for me, widowers even, all of that. Perhaps children involved, may have some children. Can be another reason why the 6 of Cups keeps showing up too. But this is otherwise a good person. You may have some differences, maybe older than you. One may be like a neat freak, one may be sloppy. Where that is not involved at all. This is showing up about the masculine, about taking back control of his life and, you know, being, making decisions for himself and prioritizing himself and not letting anybody sort of like, you know, control him and run him around and tell him what he has to do. For the feminine from the Animal Tarot, the Princess of Autumn. Or the Page of Pentacles. Cheerful, reliable, intelligent, and mischievous. A wonderful opportunity related to your work or education, such as a promotion or a scholarship, is coming your way. Seize this chance to learn something exciting or to start a more rewarding and uplifting career. So definitely, we've seen all that kind of stuff having to do with work. That's why I talk so much about work and possibly even school and stuff coming up for us. But for some of us, this is a person, right? Maybe younger than us. Like I said, maybe one is older, one is younger. And perhaps a direct earth sign, a Virgo, also ruled by Mercury. Capricorn or Taurus, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, like very grounded, very practical, common sense. Like they make, let's think this through before we, just leap. Let's not be so Mercurian-like, let's not be so Gemini-like. Let's not be so Sagittarius-like. Let's figure this out first. Let's make a plan. Let's be methodical. That's the kind of person that this is representing. From the Angel Tarot to the masculine, it's another 3. The 3 of water, a celebration, a wedding, graduation, or a birth announcement. The need to have more fun. This is telling you to be social. So if you are all work and no play, that's another reason potentially why the 10 of Wands keeps showing up. It means get out there, have some fun, meet somebody. Maybe you haven't been out since you got divorced or something like that. It means get out, have some fun, meet somebody. For those of you who are still happily, married or committed or whatever, get out with your significant other if you like. But this is a card that's guiding you to be social or to celebrate. It's also a card of reunions for me. So again, similar to all those 6 of cups, and coming back into people's lives, this means the same thing. Reuniting, reunions, reconciliation. Wow. And lastly, for the feminine, the Page of Water, who is intuitive, sensitive, artistic, and friendly. A new person enters your life. A relationship begins a new phase, and also heightened psychic abilities we all have. So increased intuition. The Queen of Cups and the High Priestess also suggest that. So definitely pay attention to any messages that you're getting. The Page of Water, like the Queen and the King that are already here, is a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And again, maybe younger than you, or even representative of a child for some of us. And I do want to read that card too before I forget. This is, again, a card about not becoming codependent. Queen of Diamonds, married woman, a mother with children. Feminine energy in loving harmony. A woman protects us and loves us. Her proximity may help us and lead us by the hand. Yes, I knew I remembered something like that. Work and family are stable or even improved by her influence. Maybe you get some advice, or maybe there's a female, a very strong feminine energy or presence that is the facilitator in this increase that comes about this week for some of you. It is critical to avoid getting too attached to this type of woman, as our independence and decision-making capacity would be compromised. Further advice. The cards could never advise you to marry or to become engaged. However, try asking to those you really love intertwine their lives permanently with yours. Their response must be listened to carefully and seriously. You may be able to make key decisions depending on the feelings that you receive. That's so funny because I didn't remember that part, but I definitely said to you guys at the beginning of this reading that people might be saying, well, not marriage, but, we could live together, or we could do something else, like coming up with unique and dynamic ways to have relationships to how we want, right? By your own design. I definitely was feeling that. I definitely was seeing that in the other cards. And now we just got another confirmation that even I was not expecting myself. So I hope you guys find all of this helpful and that you enjoy it. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, or if you feel like you learned something from it. I appreciate it. If you're not yet a subscriber, please also do consider subscribing to the channel, hitting both the subscribe button and the bell button. And I will be back with love and a moon reading very soon. I'm also thinking about sharing one of the readings, the last reading I did for a male, the most recent one. I want you to know, when I do these client readings, 99% of the time, I have no idea for whom I'm reading. I don't know anything about these people. I don't ask them anything. They send me the payment. I do the reading. I don't ask them how old they are, if they're straight, if they're gay, what sign they are, none of it. I only read energy and pick up energy. And so I may share, like I said, also in the meantime, while I'm getting the other readings up, to entertain you too, and to tell you a little bit more about me and how I do my client readings, what this gentleman said about how I picked up every single sign, his sun, his moon, his rising, his woman's sign, all of it without being told anything. All right. And I hope you guys will enjoy that as well. And it can encourage more males to get their own readings, whether from me or wherever you decide to get it from. I just think it's such a wonderful thing. All right. Any merchandise, energy healing, client readings, my social media, just so we can chat, be friends, all that kind of stuff. Every piece of information that you could possibly need about me will be in the description box. I appreciate you. I'll be back. Namaste.